Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our next in the series of our Productivity Ninja Skill Boosters. This is the Daily Boot Up, and I've particularly called this the Daily Boot Up to get your boss hat on. Boss thinking is something we're going to talk about during this session. It's a really important part of being able to plan and organise our day and ensure that we are at our tip-top productive self, as well as taking good care of ourselves during that time. My name is Julie. I forgot to change my name on the little box again. So yes, Productivity Ninja, that's me. I'm Julie. I work at Think Productive and I've been a ninja now for about 3 years. I absolutely adore being a ninja. So please keep in touch. My details are there. I will remind you of those at the end. If you'd like to get in touch with me at any time, please feel free to do so. I love chatting about productivity, as you'll see during the session. If I rattle on and ramble too quickly, please let me know. Tell me to slow down. Tell me to speed up if I'm going too slowly for you. But we're here for just around 30 minutes. The content itself is going to be literally about 20 minutes worth of content. I'm going to keep it really short and snappy and make sure that you have the daily boot up process organized, ready to go so that you can use it today. I've already done mine this morning, so I am going to share that with you and also just get you to do a little bit of that work in the session today. We love to give you something that's really hands-on and that you can action right now. So I'll make sure that we do that. Lisa, welcome. Yes, awesome. Ready for your daily boot up. Wonderful. I'm going to post again. This is the link to the daily boot up template that you will need during the session, this little fella here. And I'm going to talk you through that in a little bit. So please, if you can download that, you'll be able to work that through with me this morning. But if you can't, just take some notes and I will send you a copy of that as well in the follow-up email. We do love, as I mentioned, for everything to be very interactive in these sessions. Unfortunately, we have such a large group, we can't have everyone talking this morning, but please feel free to make some comments in the chat box and I'll keep my eye on that as well. But you will also get access after the session, if you haven't already got it from previous work with us, access to our Productivity Ninja Academy. This will be a really important resource for you to use after the session so that you can access more materials and you can download a free copy of the book, a whole copy, the electronic copy. So please feel free to go do that. It's a really great book and a really easy read. So today we're going to talk about how to do your daily boot up. And I'm going to focus on 3 key areas. I'm going to talk a little bit about boss thinking and why we need it. And I'm also going to tell you about the 2 key ninjas that are at play when we're thinking about doing our boss thinking. And then we'll get into doing the actual daily boot up process. Okay, so we'll get into it right now. So boss thinking, this is based on a concept by a wonderful man called Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker was a management consultant back in the 1950s. So that's what, 70 years ago now. He is kind of deemed the grandfather of modern management philosophy. He's become a bit of a hero of mine. I did a bit more research and digging into kind of his background. And he was a really strong advocate for workers' rights, making sure that every worker was seen as a valuable asset to business. And he came up with a lot of management consulting philosophies to help us to understand how to manage teams or lead teams well and how to get great work done. And he coined this little phrase about 2 types of thinking that we need to do. We need our worker mode thinking when we're actually in the doing and we're doing stuff. But we most importantly need our boss thinking. And this is the one I'm going to focus on today. Boss thinking is where we do our organising, our planning, making sure we're really focused on getting everything structured in a way that's going to help us to be super productive, but also balance our well-being during the day. Really very important. I'm going to talk a bit more about boss thinking because it is such a critical part of our thinking processes. When we can nail our boss thinking, we can actually organise and prioritize the things that we need to do each day rather than just be led by the nose almost by, you know, all the emails that land in our inbox or all of the things that we think we should be doing, or we get into procrastination mode. We get really distracted and we just find it's really overwhelming in the current state of COVID. I see we have a lot of Greater Sydney people on the line already today, that it becomes really overwhelming and we find we just do the easy things. Now, some days that's cool. That's all we can manage and it's perfectly fine to do that. But when we have a very organised, planned way of doing things, it can be really great for us to get on with some of the bigger stuff. And that's when we really need our boss thinking to be able to frame up what we're going to do for the day. So doing your boss thinking is really important, and it's very simple. I'm going to share this with you. It's really, really easy. So I'm going to just talk about the 2 key ninjas that this relates to. Now, interestingly, Zen Like Calm Ninja is kind of where our boss thinking sits. And when I first started working as a ninja, you know, Zen Like Calm was kind of like the Zen Like, what? How do I get this state of Zen Like Calm when I'm feeling so overwhelmed, or I'm procrastinating, or I'm really not sure where to start? And it's really important to figure out how to get some of this Zen Like Calm in our day. Last week, no, not last week, 2 weeks ago now, we did a session on overwhelm to calm, and we talked about doing the brain dump. Go back and rewatch that one. That's really important to get to this state of Zen Like Calm, or at least start to feel that we are getting past some overwhelm, and we're starting to be able to settle down that lizard brain, the little amygdala at the back, and we're being able to start reactivating our prefrontal cortex. We're starting getting our thinking brain working again. So this relates, the boss thinking is very much around this Zen Like Calm, and it's also our second ninja, which is, I'm the nerd in this area, my preparedness ninja. I love this little guy. This is all about being super prepared, and it's exactly where our daily boot up sits. Okay, so these 2 ninjas are really important to think about when we're thinking about how to harness the power of organizing and planning our day. The rest of the ninjas, you know, we cover these all in our Way of the Productivity Ninja session. We introduce you to all of these little characters. And for some of you that have done sessions with us before, you will be familiar with these little guys. But these are the 2 I'm going to focus on today. In order to get to Zen Like Calm, as I mentioned, we need to tame that lizard brain. And this is about getting to the space where we can have our brain working to its best capacity to be really thinking well. And to do that, we need to use our boss thinking skills. So I'm going to get straight into that now. Okay, so this is our daily boot up process. Okay, so if you have already downloaded this, wonderful. If not, I'm going to share it with you on the screen so that we can talk about it as we go through, and we can get into the flow of doing a daily boot up. It is about preparedness. It's about organizing. Whether you already have what we call a ninja second brain, or whether you have a diary, a calendar, a weekly planner, or even just a list of to-dos, this is all part of being prepared, and it will really help you to get focused and in the zone so that you can make progress, even when things are going a bit crazy out there in the main world. Now, we talk about this a lot in the Way of the Productivity Ninja. This is mise en place. This is what chefs do. They do this every day before service. They get the equipment ready, they get all of their ingredients ready, and everything's prepped so that the first customer that walks through the door at the moment will be takeaway only, but they're ready to go, to get really super organized. And this is what we do as good ninjas, is we get really organized. We have everything ready, our desk, our materials, our inbox, everything is ready to go. And it's so important to think about this as we set up for the day. Now, the daily boot up process, I'm going to use this little checklist and talk you through it. This is literally a 5 to 10 minute process is all it takes, okay? It's not a lot of time out of your day, but I would say there's a little saying that we have, which is, if you don't think you have time to meditate for an hour, you should probably meditate for 2. Now, that's an old saying. It's the same thing with Preparedness Ninja and Boss Thinking, okay, and doing your daily boot up. If you don't think you have time to do a daily boot up, then you definitely need to do one, okay, because this will help you move from that overwhelm and the stress of just getting stuff done that's just the urgent, shouty stuff, and you'll get into the zone of organizing to do the things you really need to do. So I'm going to step you through this one little step at a time, and I'm going to get you to do this with me. So if you wanted to pop things in the chat box or ask questions, please feel free to do this, but we can do this little 5 to 10 minute boot up right now in the session to set you up for the day. Okay, so the very first point is that this boss thinking helps us to create the Zen Like Calm. It just reminds you to come back to that place of calm, and we check in on, is there any carryover from yesterday? So I'm going to encourage you just to think about, if you've got your diary or your to-do list, your plan from yesterday in front of you, what didn't you get to yesterday that you need to get to today? Okay, just note that for yourself. And then our next one is to check our second brain for today's actions. Always a carryover from yesterday, Sarah. Yeah, can always be the case, can't it? Yeah. Check your second brain. So your second brain, if you haven't heard that expression before, this is the place where we store everything so that we don't have to clutter it up in our head, and we release that space to do the work. Okay, but it would in this context be, do you have your diary with you? I have, I'm a preparedness nerd. I have my month at a glance on my desk planner, which I love. I have my weekly planner, which you can get things like this from kikki.K, from even Kmart do these now. So my weekly planner really helps me, and I have to-do lists as well. So you might also be checking your online calendar, things like your Outlook or your Google Calendar, checking what's happening for today. So you may have meetings on today, you may have other things that you need to do, okay? So check what is in your zone for today. And then the next step is we're going to choose 5 priorities for the day. So on the left-hand side of your little planner here, you can see that there's a space which you can put a sticky note on. So you can do this every day, and you can just replace that sticky note if you have sticky notes available. And we just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. For me, I've just written mine on a little piece of paper. You can see I've got one that's green. I did it already today. So yes, we can stick that on our daily boot up. And these are our top 5 priorities. Now, I often get asked the question, but what if I've got more than 5? Yes, we sometimes get the desire to squeeze on as many as we can, and we write really small. Yeah, you can do that, but it could give you a lot more pressure and overwhelm. So it's really important to limit the number of big things that we choose, okay? And I'm hoping to kind of instill in you the concept that these should be the big things that are going to make most difference to your day. They're going to help you to move forward with maybe some of the big projects or plans that you have, big goals that you're setting out to achieve. It's not really needing to be those rats and mice things that might be on your to-do list that you're going to do anyway today. You know, it's a couple of phone calls or a couple of appointments to book, but these will be the big things that are going to make you feel like you've had a really successful day. Okay, so pick your top 5 and write them down on your list. I'm going to pause and let you guys do that right now. So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to write down your top 5 for today. Okay, that's 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes. I have a great question from Gavin. Julie, would I recommend that we share our top 5 or keep it private? Really up to you. If you're finding that you're procrastinating, if you're overwhelmed, if you know that you need to focus on those 5, but you're finding it really hard to get started, then telling someone else, getting a little bit of moral support or a little bit of a nudge from one of your colleagues or your friends or your support network around you at home, if you have a partner that can help you with that, then tell someone. Yeah, this is all about what works best for you. So it's really important to make sure you find processes that help rather than hinder. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't keep them private if you find that that's just your way of doing things. But you can also reach out for some support too to get things done. We talk about that when we overcome procrastination. We talk about things like eating frogs, and telling others is a really important way of getting a little bit of accountability going. But your top 5 is really important as your to-do list for the day. That's going to keep you on track. it also becomes your to-do list. We love to talk about to-do lists. When we talk about human, not superhero, we talk about the fact that our top 5, if we tick those all off during the day and finish them, it becomes a great ta-da, look how much we've done. We've finished, we've got those things done. So really encourage you to think about that. Turning that to-do list into a to-do list is a really great way to make progress during the day. Okay, I'm going to go back to my little checklist, because the next one within number 1, we're still in number 1, is when will I go dark to get the big stuff done? Now, this concept is again one of our ninjas, our stealth and camouflage ninja. It's about getting ready for that worker mode time, making sure that we hide ourselves away in order to get those top 5 done. Even when we're working remotely from home or wherever we might be working, sometimes we need to really block off distractions so that we can focus our attention on the right things. And by blocking out that time in our diary, we make sure we have a better chance of getting those top 5 done. Now, I'm just going to check in. Tanuja has just asked, Judy, there might be repetitive tasks we do daily or most of the days. Do they also become part of the top 5? I guess it depends on how much of your time they take during the day. So things like processing emails, for instance, I wouldn't be putting that on my top 5, but I may well allocate certain times during the day to actually go through and process my emails and make sure that I'm not missing anything from, clients that are getting in touch or someone that needs help and support. So you can add them to your top 5, but your top 5 generally are not the day-to-day things. They tend to be the bigger things that you're working on, the projects or the things that are going to make biggest momentum towards your goals and your vision to move forward in the future. Hope that helps. Let me know if you need any more on that. So yeah, let's think about, I would love you guys now just to take 1 minute to think about the things that you've put on your top 5. When are you going to do them? Do you have those already planned in your diary? Do you have time today to do all of those top 5? So I'm just going to pause for a minute and let you think on that and see if you can allocate time in your diary today to get all of those top 5 done. Okay, how was that? I would love to know. I can probably guess some of you are thinking, I've set up those top 5 and I don't have time to do all of those 5 today. If that's the case, you can start this process. Pick your top 3. Find a way to make this work for you so that you get into the rhythm of doing the daily boot up. If 5 doesn't fit, work with 3. Just cut it down, make it really bite-sized and easy to manage. Yeah. But hopefully you've found space in your diary for those top 5 to do them today. So I'd love to know if you've allocated time. Please let me know in the chat box. You can have, so Peter's saying, can we have fun? Can we have fun? Oh, I get you, sorry, Peter. Yes, can having fun be a priority? Absolutely, it can be. Really important. I'm really glad you raised that one, Peter. It's very important to make sure that we've got some balance in there. So the top 5, really important, doesn't have to be just things you have to do that are work stuff, but it can be other things like, getting in touch with friends, connecting, going for a walk, making sure we're taking care of our physical well-being, doing things that we love, is equally important. You'll see up the front, I posted that photo of me with my contact details. That's me doing what I do when I love going out underwater, doing my photography, getting in the ocean. Yeah, that keeps me sane. And during COVID, I'm very lucky that's still classified as an activity that we can do. So it's really important to think about, how do I balance that? How do I make sure I take good care of myself physically during the day? Yes, there's lots of comments. I'm just going to pause and see these comments. Yes, it is well-being. It's absolutely well-being. And that's Sarah is saying, I think I only got 3 done today. Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If those top 3 are huge, meaty ones, and that's what you need to focus on, then that's perfect. Yes. The first half hour of my day is always for reviewing the work for the day and handling quick items. Beautiful, perfect way to do things, Jennifer. Yes, any longer tasks you do, you schedule into your calendar. Beautiful, you're a ninja already. And Rachel, I don't think I'll get all of my top 5 done. Yeah, reprioritize my list in order of importance. Wonderful. And then we can figure out how we then plan for those next things to be done, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Yeah. Amanda, so 20 minutes of cycling every day means you sleep better. Fantastic. So I'm hoping that you're putting that into your time as well. Yes, wonderful. And Naomi, plan is to make a dent in the top 5 big rocks today. Yes, big rocks is a great way to think about them. It's another great strategy. They will carry over till tomorrow. And that's cool too. As long as we know we are working and making progress towards those, that works really well. Fabulous. Thank you for the feedback, guys. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to get on to the rest of the daily checklist because each of those is really important too. So we also check our calendar for the next 2 days ahead and make sure that we've added any actions to our second brain so that we know that we're preparing for what's coming. There's no point just being in the zone today, getting our head down, getting that stuff done, and then going, oh my goodness, I forgot, I've got other stuff I need to be ready for. So that forward vision is also really important. Yeah. So thinking about the next couple of days ahead and working out when we need to do those things if we have stuff coming up. Number 3 is really important too. So what am I resisting? What do I need help with? Yeah. If we think about this first thing in the morning, if we've identified 3 or 5 big things we're going to work on, but we need support to do those things, we need help from someone, then it's important to plan it now. Yeah, this might seem like no-brainers, but just getting our heads into this zone of planning ahead means that we're more likely to get the help that we need, to make sure we've got time in someone else's diary, if it's a colleague or someone that we need to chat with. It's really important to think ahead for those things. And then we're more likely to succeed and not waste time with, oh, they're not available today, I'm not going to get them for another couple of days, therefore that activity needs to push out. Yeah, so thinking about this and how we can get support is really important. Also think about why you're resisting. Is that procrastination? And think about the dust model that we've shared before. Think about why you're finding that resistance is there so that you can overcome it. Number 4 is also really important, and this comes down to well-being too. How do I feel today? Am I feeling great? Am I on fire? Am I really looking forward to a productive day ahead? Or am I not feeling so good? You know, for some of us, the overwhelm and the stress of things that are happening can be really overwhelming and stop us from being productive in the day. You know, our productivity can wane, flow through the day. So really think about, am I trying to take on too much today? I'm going to give myself a break and I am going to do some of the simpler things today. Or am I on fire? I've got a whole day to myself at home and I'm going to get loads done. Yeah. So think about where your energy level sits. It's a really important one. Now I'm just going to pause. There's a couple more questions. Just blocked out my afternoon so I can knuckle down on your 5. Edith, that's awesome. Overwhelmed to Calm, Holly. It's in our YouTube channel. I will send you the link. Maybe before the end of the session, I can just type it into the chat box. I'll just go grab that for you. But you can also access that if you go to our website, thinkproductive.com.au, you'll find our YouTube link straight at the top there. And that has all the recordings of all of these particular skill boosters. So you can go back and have a look at Overwhelmed to Calm. It was a good one. No worries. The last one on this little checklist, number 5, is process your emails. Get your inbox to 0. Okay, so this is part of what we call our daily boot up, but it's the last thing we do. We don't start with our emails, because what happens when we start with our emails? We're often still in there half an hour later, yeah, and we can just stay in our inbox and just doing that. Oh, sorry, Sarah. Yes, on the website. So if you look on the website, it's thinkproductive.com.au. And at the very top, you'll see a little menu bar which has things like Facebook icons and things, and it also has a YouTube link there. Just hit the YouTube link and it will take you to all of the recordings. Cool. So yes, emails, do them after you've set your top 5. Okay, it might be that there's some things that come in overnight that you go, oh, I'm going to have to do that today, and it's going to disrupt your top 5 a little bit, but it shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't take over your inbox should not take over your day. Okay, I'm just going to pause. Chris, with zero inbox, I have about 30,000 emails in my inbox, 6,000 unread. Mainly use a single inbox folder, get a few hundred a day. Yep. You need to talk to me about inbox to zero, Chris. This is really, really important. Doesn't trouble you too much. Okay, but you can just get that down to zero and work in a process that's so much more efficient. So I'd really encourage you to chat with me about that. I will make a note, Chris, maybe to reach out to you via email and we can have a chat. And also just remember that in the book, chapter 4 is the inbox to zero chapter. So you can get to zero, you can stay at zero, and you can remove all of that clutter out of your life. It's truly liberating, I would say. So yeah, let's talk about that a bit more. Naomi is asking the question, is there any value, any value in doing the top 5 for next day before you leave the day before? If you get really good at this, Naomi, absolutely. This was actually written, most of my top 5 was done the night before. And I just added a couple of extra things on this morning. So yeah, it's a really great process. If you finish off and you ta-da list, you tick off those 5 that you've done and you set up for the next day ahead, you can literally walk out of the office, you can shut the door, wherever it is, even if it's in your kitchen. I know a lot of us are still struggling with where we're working at the moment, but you can literally close down your laptop and go, I'm set and I know what's coming tomorrow. And then you can actually feel like you can go relax for the evening. So yes, very important point. Chris, yep, need to read the book. Yeah, it's on your desk. Awesome. And Peter, found the new features in Office 365 very useful. Yep. A board with calendar and tasks, beautiful. Yeah, there's loads of apps. There's loads of, if you're an online person and you don't like the weekly physical stuff, there's lots of tools and templates out there which form part of your second brain and help you to get organized. So yeah, whole different discussion topic. We'll maybe cover that one off in another session. Yes, but yes, please feel free, shop around, look for apps. You can get lots of good free stuff out there. Amanda, talk about inboxes too, have thousands. Yes, Amanda, I will talk to you. I'm going to write down Chris and Amanda, and I'm going to get in touch with you and we can talk about inboxes. Absolutely, no problem at all. And Linda's mentioning, like to work with an open door type approach, closed door when you have meetings. Yep, beautiful. But have so many Zoom type meetings. Yeah, sometimes doors close for hours. It's really tricky, isn't it? Yeah, have queue of calls. Yeah. Yeah, okay. 3 calls that you need to return. It's really difficult, isn't it? Juggling all of those things and getting distracted. And it's also really tricky when you've got all of those distractions coming in when you're just trying to do your organizing. I hear you. Yes, it's really very tricky. So Linda, yes, I hear you. We can talk again later if you'd like to talk separately about that. I've got some strategies we can recommend there. Jeannie, good to be aware if you prefer to organise first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Yep, awesome. Inbox 2, Raylene, yes. And Kath. Oh, and Kath wants to talk about inboxes. I'm just making notes, guys, so I don't miss any of you. Henny, you use Cortana in Office, helps to set time and focus. Yeah, and do not disturb. Great, really important to stop those distractions so that you can get the work done. And Jennifer, emails inbox right now is empty. Wonderful. You've set up the 3 folders. Fabulous. Awesome. Good job. It sounds like you're already a ninja with your email, Jennifer. Wonderful. And Lisa also for that. Great. Sorry, guys. I'll just make sure I'm not missing anyone. That's awesome. So let me just reground myself. Okay, so this is the daily boot up. As I mentioned, this process really only needs to take you 5 or 10 minutes in the morning or the night before. If you get really good at this and you want to do it in the night before, it can be so easy and simple to do. It has changed, to be honest. This was one of the biggest things that changed my sense of productivity and well-being, because I was very much in the zone of, okay, now I know what I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to get those things done and I'm going to plan for other stuff as well. I'm going to plan for making sure I'm taking good care of myself. And very importantly, one of those other things that we need to plan for is for resting. We call resting is investing, is our little saying. Yeah. When we take good care of ourselves, when we make sure we have time away from office, when we have that, we say bookend each end of your day. So we shouldn't be answering emails or looking at emails, checking emails in our in bed before we even get out of bed in the morning or before we start the day. And it can be really tempting to do that, especially when we are in lockdown again. Yeah, the day just blurs. So really important to make sure that we separate the day, bookend each end. Yeah, close the door, close the laptop, and make sure we have time for resting and taking good care of our physical self and our mental well-being. Okay, so this is a very important part of preparedness. Plan for that too. So thank you, Peter. That was a really important lead into that one as well. Hi, Sonia. Thank you. No worries. I will see you 9:30. We're out of time, but I just wanted to finish by saying we've covered these 3 things, guys. Please keep in touch. We got through lots of chats there, so thank you. I just wanted to make sure that you also know that we've got lots of other workshops that we can help you with for your teams. And also just a very quick shout out, we have a 6 weeks to Ninja program starting on the 10th of August. This is going to be a really great program, bite-sized information every week to help you to become a ninja across a whole range of different areas of ninjaness. So yeah, get in touch if you'd like to know more about that one. This skill booster, obviously we've just finished today, the daily boot up. The next one will be on a weekly review, which is coming up on the 30th of July with Matt. And then Gavin's going to be hosting the chairing meetings like a Productivity Ninja. So they're the next 2 skill boosters you might want to look out for. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to whiz through and say there's more resources in the podcasts. If you can just screenshot and give us feedback, I would love that. Oh, I forgot to update this slide. It says overwhelmed calm, but of course this is the Skill Booster Daily Boot Up. So please choose that if you would like to give us feedback. And if you would like access to the Ninja Academy, then please get in touch with me. Here are my details again. My email is just julie@thinkproductive.com.au. And please, please keep in touch. And Peter, yes, the recording today will be on our YouTube channel very shortly. We'll upload that later today and we will send you an email just to let you know that it's there. So thank you once again for joining us. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. I will stay on the line for a few minutes if anyone would like to chat more. I can unmute people to have a quick chat now, or please get in touch and we can chat outside of the session. Okay, have a wonderful day. Take care. And I'm sorry I did run over today. We chatted too much, but thank you. I really appreciate all of the input and feedback. Have a great day, guys.